Welcome to the Heavy Debriefings podcast.
We are Josh Runquist and the Metal Faerie,
A fun-loving metal couple that brings you the best in new music.
What did you just make me listen to? As well as movies.
3 hours later, nothing of value was added. TV.
It's going good, so why not cancel it? Video games.
Here's an idea. Remake the game, but make it worse. Wrestling.
Why are we still watching this week after week? And all things entertainment.
I knew it. I knew she was behind Black Guy Gates. And a little insight into our personal lives. You don't mind that I trauma dump on you, do you?
Emotional support girlfriend, party one. He's a handsome fella.
I know, you keep telling me. We're made for each other, because no one else would have us. Enjoy the show. Hey everybody, this is Josh Runquist here for the Heavy Debriefings podcast, episode 70. We're actually recording this just a little over 24 hours since we did the last one.
Yes.
Of course, that voice is, of course, from
The Metal Faerie.
And how are you doing about a day later?
I'm tired. I'm tired out, but I'm trucking along and just looking forward to a weekend of nothing.
Does that sound nice?
Oh my gosh, it sounds just amazing.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, so I'm in hell.
Yeah.
I'm in so much physical pain right now, and I'm also experiencing some trauma flashbacks from being in the hospital and stuff. Everything from dealing with catheter stuff, which I didn't talk about in the previous podcast, but I had to have a catheter put in, and it was one of the scariest things I've ever been through in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you can check out the whole thing about my diabetic ketoacidosis for episode 69, if you want to know about what we're talking about. This, of course, is episode 70, which is kind of the second half to the podcast, in a sense. Both of these, the previous episode and this one, are both shortened versions of the show.
Yes.
We're not doing the full-scale thing of everything because of how we're recording this, but this one's a little more full.
A little bit.
We have done some stuff that we'll be talking about. All the stuff that had nothing to do with the hospital we'll be covering. We also got some news-related things that we'll be talking about. We got a special segment for the Metal Faerie's birthday. She wanted to do a special little favorites list that we'll be doing. And we got a couple songs for hot, sexy singles. And then we got the November 8th edition of Out Today and What I Missed. So even though my voice is holding up, please be aware I am in so much pain, mentally and physically. So if this is not my best show, I do apologize, but I am trying to hold up my voice the best that I can to make sure that at least it'll be a pleasant experience. And from all the tweaking that I've been doing through Reaper and setting our mics and everything seems to be pretty level.
Yeah.
Now, like, nothing's peaking, even your cackling isn't coming through as loud as it normally does.
I haven't cackled yet.
Yeah. Well, the point is, it's less.
Yes.
And hopefully it won't be as harsh of a listening experience as it has in the past. Everything is a learning experience. And in speaking of that learning experience, that's what I've been basically doing ever since I got out of the hospital, trying to figure out what I can eat, what I can drink, how the medications work, how the blood sugar works and everything. I have been very shocked with how my blood sugar has been. Like, I figured with how much pain I've been in, with the food that I've had and stuff like that, it was just going to be skyrocketing.
Right.
Woke up today, what was it, 115?
115 and 120 somewhere.
Yeah, like average.
Yeah.
That's...
There's only been one time where it was a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And that's because you had eaten not too long before that, so
yeah,
it's bound to happen.
So I think I should, hopefully at least with the blood sugars and stuff like that, be able to get things back the way they should be.
I think so.
But starting next week, might as well mention it now. Next week will be the final Out Today and What I Missed for the year for November 15th. Got 11 albums on there. That'll be 530 albums total, and we'll be done.
Yes.
There, of course, is albums that I've even learned of today that have come out in recent times that I missed out on that I wish I would have covered, but that's the breaks, little man. Break it down. My body says no, and I need to listen to my body.
Yeah, you do.
So, you actually kind of celebrated celebrated your birthday today.
I mean, so I had to go out to pick up a grocery order, and I just ran to a few other stores too since I was out and about. And
well, it's better than how you spent your actual birthday, seeing the country go down and me being in the hospital.
That is true. But I just ran a couple stores I liked, and I did buy myself a new purse because I love me some purses.
Yeah, what kind of purse is that?
It's a Martha Stewart purse. Who knew she had a line of purses? I had no idea. But I love me some Martha Stewart. She's my gal. She's my gal. Like, yeah.
So we're just picking and choosing what felons we're supporting in this country nowadays, huh?
Well, I mean, number one, I'm not trying to elect her president. I just, enjoy her recipes and decorating tips. There's a big difference there. And also, she did her time. She's learned her lesson, and she's on the liberal side. So
you heard it here first. As long as you're a liberal, you can be a felon.
And she actually went to prison.
Okay. It was a white-collar prison.
Somebody else did.
I actually just saw a little bit ago that they are trying right now to pause all of the trials and everything because of the election.
Imagine that.
It's funny, the one that was actually trying to prosecute him is the one that's trying to put a stop to all this now.
Of course.
So, that's just like giant middle finger that's going on there.
It sure is.
But what else have we been doing besides you getting a new purse and your hair straightener that you're going to be trying out at some point?
I did. I bought a new hair straightener too. So outside of that, we did, previous to you going to the hospital, we watched the Agatha All Along finale.
Yes, a 2-part finale. Is it too early for spoilers? Can we talk about how we feel about it?
I mean, I think you've had ample time to watch it if you want to watch it. If you haven't watched Agatha, if you don't want to hear about it, we have the times in the description. Skip on along. Otherwise, we're gonna give a few spoilers.
All right. Yeah, looking back on it, I really did enjoy the ending. I just hated that it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yes.
Because there's no guarantee that they're going to follow up on any of this.
Yep. I completely agree. Like, I love the entire season. It was good for so many reasons. And I really love the finale. I'm just terrified that there's not going to be any more because I want more. It was so good. And there's things that are unanswered that need to be answered and rectified and yes.
Yeah. And what if they don't?
I'm going to cry. Okay.
Because it wouldn't be the first time that they've done something like this.
No, it definitely wouldn't be.
And it won't be the last either. But, yeah, I know there was a whole big agenda against the show. I feel like everyone who had a problem with it didn't actually watch it.
Oh, no. They just heard things and spouted off things.
Yeah, it's pro-LGBT, so, it's trying to turn all the children gay and turn into cats using litter boxes in elementary schools and stuff like that.
Totally.
There's LGBTQ plus characters.
Yeah.
It shows that they can live the lives that they want to live. I don't see how that's any different than if it was a straight show.
It's not.
And also, it's not about their sexuality in the show.
Not at all.
I mean, there's a will they, won't they kind of relationship kind of going on there.
Yeah.
Which is also, is it just flirting with death? Is that maybe it?
I mean, that's one way to look at it. That is one way to look at it. I feel like there was a lot left out with those two. Because I mean, it did revisit the past a little bit in the final episodes, but
before the show even started, like the origins of Agatha.
Yeah, but there was definitely a lot not really defined between those two still. No.
Yeah, which it feels like there needs to be a season 2 or a sequel series or something like that. I don't know if there's gonna be.
I hope so. If you're listening, Disney or whoever is deciding this piece of it, make another season, please.
Well, in the other side of supervillain stuff, we watched the penultimate episode of The Penguin.
We did.
As soon as we got home on Wednesday.
Yeah.
What's that prog band that started in '69 and then ended with their 40th anniversary and then Neil Peart died a few years ago? Oh yeah, Rush. This episode was so rushed.
It was.
Like, so many things that it's been building to ended in seconds.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed it. I'm still loving this story, but it feels like they had way too much to fit in come these last couple episodes, probably. And
well, don't say probably. The last episode hasn't aired yet.
Well, okay, leading up to this last episode then, whatever you want to say. Like, they had to fit in way too much, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't either. And some of the things that happened weren't nearly as satisfying satisfying as they could have been.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And I hope it's a good payoff. I mean, don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
And how is this going to tie into the second The Batman movie? I'm very, very curious. But yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. But it's going to be interesting on the next episode. I'm going to have you compare what was the better show, Agatha or the Penguin, and you better have an answer.
Oh, I will. I'll get my notes ready for this.
Okay.
On a related note to the Penguin, it kind of inspired us to go and watch something. Now, this is something that you've watched in the past, but I have never watched it. I'm, of course, aware of it. I've heard about it. I don't remember a lot of what I heard about it, which is for the benefit of me, so it's all surprise now, but...
And got some gabagoo.
And gabagoo. But we decided to go back and watch The Sopranos.
Yeah, we're actually going to go back and watch all the episodes of The Sopranos. We're about halfway through the first season before I got sick. What did you think of it so far?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot darker, which you have assured me it gets darker.
Oh, yes, it does.
It's still pretty light and airy, late 90s right now.
I wouldn't necessarily call everything that happens in there
Not
light
everything,
and airy.
but I mean, comparatively speaking to some other gangster-related things of more current times, shall we say.
Well, yeah, you also got to realize this year is 25 years since it premiered,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
you know, times have changed.
Totally. It is so 90s right now. It's pretty enjoyable.
Well, some of it was shot in 96.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just like...
But yeah, so far I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Like, it's a good story. I mean, it's well-rounded, I would say. It has a little bit of kind of everything. It's, you know, it has the, like, mobster stuff, but it also has, like, family stuff and, like... mental health stuff, and it's kind of... It's well-rounded, yeah. So I'm very curious how it's going to go, and yeah, I'm excited to watch more.
And don't forget AJ Soprano's Oliver and Nevermore posters.
Yes, that is hilarious. And I think Moonspell, too.
Moonspell
I think
as
I
well.
saw that up there.
Yeah, just all the Century Media bands at the time.
They just reached out to that one label. They're like, can you send us some posters?
Yeah, sure. This fat kid probably likes this stuff. But yes, it does get much darker.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say how. I'm not going to say what happens. I'm not even going to say if there's a drop-off in quality. I'm just going to say it gets darker.
Okay. And then before we come back to something we watched last night, we'll talk a little bit about Vampire Survivors. It had...
Well, we had some other stuff that we watched.
What else did we watch?
Treehouse of Horror, 35.
Yes, that is true. We did watch that. It was good. I mean, it's certainly not one of the top tier Treehouse of Horrors, but it was definitely enjoyable.
Yeah, I honestly kind of found it to be one of the weakest ones in quite a while. The first one was just like really on the nose about the election cycle and stuff like that. The second one was a parody of Fall of the House of Usher, which I haven't watched.
Yeah, I know.
So I really didn't get jokes that were going on there. But the third one, it wasn't scary at all, but it was the best one. It was the Venom parody, Denim.
Yes, it was pretty funny.
Where Homer gets a new pair of denim.
Yes. And it's alive.
Well, just like Venom.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Yeah, it was. I found that to be quite hilarious, but you know, like nothing about it was scary. Not really horror, even really. Like only the second one was horror-esque.
Yeah.
But see, to me that's light and airy.
Yeah.
Not The Sopranos in '99, light and airy.
We have different versions of light and airy.
I guess we do. And then also watched Bob's Burgers as well too. With the apparently you knew about this TikTok trend about cheese throwing.
Yeah, so for years now on TikTok, there's been this trend where you take a slice of American cheese, usually, and you just randomly throw it at somebody. Usually, it's like I've seen it like you throw it at a baby, or you throw it at like a pet, and they just have like these like random little cute like lost looks on their faces. But it does happen amongst adults as well. And yeah, this one was all about the children of Wagstaff having a little competition.
Well, the 8th grade.
The 8th grade, yeah. Having a competition, breaking into teams, and then, but it comes down to individuals of one individual winning who is the last person standing after throwing cheese in each other's faces.
And it also reinforced my fan theory about the type of school Wagstaff is. I'm not going to go into details about it, but the whole episode just made me me realize that maybe there is some truth to that theory that I have.
Anything else I missed? Or
No, we can go into the Vampire Survivors now.
Yeah.
On Halloween, they released a Castlevania DLC, and I'm still currently playing through that, and when you're getting out of the hospital, playing Vampire Survivors is so easy because all you do is just move the joystick and occasionally hit the X button.
Yep.
And that's only for the menus when you hit the X button. Otherwise, you're just using the stick to just move around and it auto fires. It's fantastic. But no, seeing all the different Castlevania characters in the style of Vampire Survivors, and you fight in Dracula's castle and stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun, and it was only like $3-4.
Yeah, it was
something
cheap.
like that.
It was very cheap.
Yeah, that's what I appreciate about Vampire Survivors is they know it's a small, simple, cheap game, but the quality is still there.
Exactly.
And it's still fun.
Yeah.
And I still think you need a version of it that's not on your phone so you can appreciate it a little bit better and actually get the DLC so you can see all the different ones that are on there.
Yeah, I will have to go the Switch route at some point. But also, speaking of Switch, we saw that the Rocky Horror game finally came out on Switch as well. So that is something I need to look into as well.
Yes, it is a port of the Commodore 64 Rocky Horror game, which I'm surprised now of all times that they're doing that.
I know.
Also related to the Switch, since we're bringing that up, the successor to the Switch, whenever that gets announced, they have announced that it will be officially backwards compatible. So all the games that you currently have for the Switch will work on the successor to the Switch.
Very nice, very nice. I like that in a system.
Especially when another system came out this week, just a couple days ago, that's $700, and it comes with less things than when I got the original version of that system.
Yup, it's ridiculous.
And I've seen so many reviews on the PS5 Pro now.
Yeah.
And so many of them say you have to be within a certain distance from your eyes to the screen to be able to tell a difference.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be for $700.
No.
And it's more if you want the disc drive, it's more if you want a vertical stand. And if you live in Canada, it's over $1,000 Canadian.
It's disgusting. It's just disgusting. Oh.
It's like PlayStation built up all this goodwill and then they threw it away, which they seem to do every other console cycle.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart as a lifelong PlayStation fan that they just continuously do this. And, it's all the more reason maybe I just need to join the PC Master Race at some point.
I don't know about that, but that's just too much money. That's way too much money.
It's all too much money.
Well, that is true.
But that's the thing. It's like if you're spending $1,000 for a console and you can spend $1,000 on a PC and potentially get the same stuff for it.
Yeah, but it's not like a console. You're $1,000 and then you're done for 6 years. PC,
in theory.
Yeah, in theory. PC, nope. You're not.
Well, again, look what just happened with PlayStation, though. I mean, they just refreshed it with the Pro after 3-4 years, and then it's a couple $100 more just to get a little bit better.
Oh yeah, but we already have one, so we don't need to go that route.
Well, even if we had the funds, I wouldn't want to do it because I would just find it to be a waste of money.
Oh, completely. But my point is we already have it, so it's not something we need to do. Whereas PC, you need to
I'm not talking about right now, I'm talking about in the future.
No, I know. But I'm saying PC is a need to constantly upgrade.
Yeah. But it's also, you don't have to upgrade all of it at once. You can do different parts at different times.
Sure, but overall it costs more continuously.
Yeah.
Regardless though.
I still think people like our bickering.
Maybe. Do you? Do you like our bickering?
Please let us know if you're listening.
And finally, we went to see a movie last night. We needed a little outing, and we've been wanting to see this one when it came out, and we went and saw Heretic.
Oh, you actually pronounced it right.
Shut up.
You mean we didn't go see Heretic?
Let's talk about the movie and move along.
Did you know your favorite movie of all time features one of your favorite actors of all time?
You don't shut up about this.
All right, anyways.
You're lucky you're recovering. Otherwise, I'd give you something else to recover about.
Oh, you're still gonna. Anyways, yes, the latest A24 film featuring Hugh Grant of all people.
Yes,
90s British romantic comedy heartthrob Hugh Grant in what might be the best role he's ever done.
Yeah.
I honestly think he should be up for an Oscar in this one.
I 100% think he should, yeah.
To not give away the whole movie, it's about two Mormon girls who go to this man's house who's a little bit more interested in their religion. They get invited into his house. and things take a turn.
Yes.
Many turns. The turns that you think are going to happen turn out to be different turns that happen.
Yeah.
Which is probably what I enjoy most about it, is you almost kind of feel like it's going to be going in one direction, then it completely turns itself on its ear, and then it finds a different ear to turn itself on. And it just keeps going like that. It goes in so many different directions that you just don't think it's going to be going into. But it makes you think all the way through.
Yeah. It's one thing we talked about last night too that we both loved about it is it's such an intelligently done movie. Like it really gets inside of you. Like whether you're religious or not, it makes you question religion, it makes you question your lack of religion, it makes you question all your thoughts and choices, it makes you question whether you're even making choices in your life and what is being just forced upon you.
Well, it makes you question who you are.
Yeah, like
are you real?
Are you real? Like it's and it makes you question your trust in people. Why do you trust people? Do you trust people? Why should you trust people? Should you trust people? Like so many different things, and it's done in such a just a intellectual, witty, fun way. Like Hugh Grant's character, I won't get into details, but
you better not.
I mean, there's some issues there, but girl, I would love to just hang out with him. Like I feel like I would get along with him so.
Even with his choice of music?
Because of his choice in music.
Wow, okay.
I mean, he seems like he probably has a wide array that he listens to, you know?
Maybe.
Yeah, but he's just such a smart teller, and yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, with A24, they'll occasionally put out a movie like The Front Room, but they always come back with a movie like Heretic, and that's why they're one of my favorite film studios. Whether they're doing horror, whether they're doing something scary, whether they're doing something that's neither of those, they almost always knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
They'll occasionally put out a bad movie. No one has a perfect track record. No one bats 1,000.
Yeah.
The Front Room. But this is one of the best movies that they've put out.
Agreed.
And when we bring back blind rankings, I'm going to have to do like another A24 one as well too. Because there's so many different ones you could choose from. And,
it's true. It's true.
But we'll get to that at a different point. But if you just want a really smart, intelligent, thought-provoking horror movie, or if you just want to see Hugh Grant again, go see Heretic. All right, it's time to kick things into 12th gear here as we get into the news.
Yeah, so up first, a little news going off of Bob's Burgers. So Jade Johnson, who is the voice actor behind Jimmy Pesto on Bob's Burgers.
Which, sidebar, turns out you actually like pesto. As
I do.
You
I
learned
in the
as
hospital.
we were in the hospital.
So in the hospital, they had one of those, I forget the name of the company, but it's a vending machine that has like salads and like fresh stuff. And they had a pasta salad in there that I got a couple times that had pesto on it, and it was really good. So lesson learned.
But of course, we're talking about Jamie Poplovich.
Yes. So you may remember back on the January 6th incident in 2021, he was part of the crowd at the Capitol. He had pushed against police officers guarding a tunnel entrance to the Capitol. He also cracked jokes and interacted with other rioters as he used a cell phone to record the violence around him.
Do you think he and John Schaefer hung out at all?
Maybe.
Do you think he's an Iced Earth fan? Do you think John Schaefer's a Bob's Burgers fan?
That would be funny. He expressed regret that he had made it more difficult for the police to do their job and said that he never would have guessed that a riot would have erupted that day, and blamed his own ignorance. But yeah, he was finally sentenced now 2 Mondays ago for his part in it all. The judge sentenced him to 1 year and 1 day of imprisonment.
Why the extra day?
I don't know. And they allowed him to remain free after the hearing and report to prison at a date to be determined.
So he could easily flee the country if he wanted to.
Maybe. The judge did say that he recognized that Johnson will miss out on caring for his 13-year-old autistic daughter while he is behind bars. So that's the choice you make, dude. Like, you go break the law and you don't care about the fact that you're gonna be away from your daughter. That's disgusting.
Hanging out with John Schaefer and Chris Jericho's wife.
Oh, I believe that.
Well, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
That is true. It was recommended that he get an 18-month prison sentence. As even though he had, said that he regretted everything. During it was a Halloween party that he attended. He had dressed as Jacob Chansley, who was the spear-carrying Capitol rioter. And this was 2 years after the incident, so this was back in 2023.
He clearly learned.
Yeah. So he did not take it seriously at all. So I'm glad he got some time at least. But moving onward, a little gaming news. So Call of Duty, not really our typical game around this household. But Black Ops 6 will be featuring a pay-to-win audio system. In a recent blog post, Activision revealed that there will be an enhanced headphone mode that enhances the directional accuracy of sounds in the game. It's something that's pretty crucial in serious and competitive matches because you can hear, where explosions are, when gunshots are, where footstep are. That can really, help or hinder you in a game. Yeah, thoughts on this?
It makes my blood boil, honestly.
Yeah.
It's already a $70 game, and you're charging more so it can sound better.
Yep.
So the footsteps sound a little closer, the gunshots sound a little clearer. I have such a huge issue with that.
Completely. Like, if there's like DLC, stuff like that, fine.
Well, technically it is, because you don't need it.
Well, but I disagree. Like, there's some things that should just be innately included. Audio stuff should be one of those things. It's disgusting. Like, are you gonna like start, putting certain colors of the game behind a paywall? Like, it's gonna be all in black and white unless you pay extra money.
Well, for some people that might actually be an advantage, because if you only have to focus on a gray scale like black and white, and then you see other things moving, that could be an advantage.
Sure, but that's not quite the point I was going for.
No, I understood what you meant. I'm just saying that could be an advantage to some people, but no, it's the fact that the audio stuff can help you win.
Yeah.
It gives you an advantage over the commoners that just pay for the game.
Ew.
Or the people who are playing it through Game Pass.
Oh, we scowl at you.
Charlatans.
Exactly.
But this is why I stick to single player games.
Understandably so. So the first image from the new Puniverse horror movie Pinocchio Unstrung has come out, and it is starring Robert Englund.
And who is Robert Englund playing?
So the filmmakers behind Winnie the Pooh, they put
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yes, Blood and Honey.
And you have to point out the difference.
And its sequel.
Blood and Honey 2.
So they're expanding the Puniverse with quite a few movies coming out. Outside of Pinocchio, there also will be Bambi the Reckoning and Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. But yeah, they put all the information that Robert Englund, he will be playing the character Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yes. Additionally, Richard Brake, who was in 3 from Hell, will also be starring as Puppet Master Geppetto.
Yeah, the one that replaced Sid.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So I mean, am I gonna watch everything in the Puniverse? Yeah, I'm going to. But
I'm gonna complain the whole time.
What?
I'm gonna complain the whole time.
I'm gonna complain the whole time, and it's not gonna be good. And Robert Englund. So why?
Well, the residuals are probably drying up for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, that could be. Ugh.
All right then.
Moving onward, let's go over some music news. So some sad news first. Savage's John Oliva was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and Meniere's disease. Am I saying that right? I can't remember.
I wish I knew how to pronounce it.
He had put out a statement. Hello, Sabotage fans. This is John Oliva. I wanted to set a few things straight for everyone. First of all, I am very excited for Johnny, Chris, Zach, Jeff, and Al to play again. I feel it's important for the fans to enjoy our music live, and believe me, these guys will kick ass. As far as I go, I was going to do these shows, but unfortunately I've run into more health issues. I want you all to know that if there was any way I could do these shows, I would, but my health issues are more serious than I originally thought. As most of you know, I fractured my spine in 3 places, and I've recently been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis as well as Meniere's disease. My doctors are working with me to get healthy again. I am working closely with the guys and will be involved in every aspect of the show. I am 100% behind the guys doing the show, and I promise I will return ASAP. In the meantime, I am working in the studio on new material. I love you all, and thank you for understanding my situation. I know my brothers will deliver the good. Oh, super sad.
And he's already gone through so much in his life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, losing his brother, all the different ailments that's been through his entire life.
Yes.
And now just adding even more to it.
Exactly.
It's just heartbreaking.
It really is. It really is.
Although, like he said, I am very happy that Sabotage is getting back together to at least do some final shows and do that final album.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like he's in good spirits at least. He feels like good enough that he's actually working on stuff still and like trying to do what he can to be, out there. So.
Well, I imagine with like the final album and stuff like that, he can record pretty much everything from home, so I can't imagine it would be too much of a physical tax for him to be able to do that. So
that's always
so it's devastating to see all of that, and just the tragic life that he's had.
Yeah.
And I mean, why do you think his band's called John Oliver's Pain? You know, it's just
yeah. I never put those pieces together before, honestly.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah, it makes sense though. Makes sense.
See, that's who they should have got for Prog Power. Sabotage, not
Oh yeah.
not Hammerfall, who drops off 2 days after it gets announced.
Have they said anything yet from their side?
Just that they're working on it.
Okay.
And I also saw from Prog Power they have less than 27 tickets left for days 3 and 4. So does that mean 1? Does that mean 26?
Right. Some news from Tim Alexander of Primus. He had put out a statement to Rolling Stone. I know there are a lot of questions about why I quit Primus and feel it's important to share my story for myself as well as our fans. Stepping away from Primus has been one of the most challenging decisions of my life, but ultimately it came down to love. For myself, my family, and the life I want to create moving forward, I choose a path love. With regard to what I said to the band about losing my passion for playing, I did say that, but I also said all of these scores left me feeling my body hurt constantly. This context is important. I also told them that they deserve someone who wants to be there, and I meant it. As far as abruptly goes, I suppose there's never the perfect time to leave something you've been a part of for so long. Bands have their own inner workings and are a relationship. Sometimes it doesn't feel balanced, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Over the past months, I've been in a place of healing and intensive mental health rehabilitation, learning to confront struggles I've carried for years. In this period of solitude, I've started to see with new clarity what no longer serves me, the people and situations that do not support my well-being, and the parts of my life I need to let go of to find peace and stability. When I first joined Primus, I was 24 years old. I am almost 60 now, and not just a drummer, but also a husband and a dad. Being a drummer for almost 4 decades has taken its toll on my body. As I said previously, my body hurt, my pants hurt, my back hurt. 10 years ago, I had open heart surgery, and I'm still dealing with the aftermath. For so many years of my life, I slept, breathed, and lived the music, giving it everything I had, and often at the expense of both my physical and mental health. Drumming is a strenuous profession, and coupled with touring and performing, it can be exhausting on every level. But I love drumming and always will, just as I will always hold so much love and appreciation for our fans, the music we made, the places we went, and everything I learned along the way. When we were coming up as young musicians, it was a different world than it is today. There wasn't a focus on how this life affected us. It just wasn't talked about. And I think we lost a lot of amazing musicians over the years because of that. I no longer feel the need to hide the fact that for the last year, I wasn't happy and was in a dark place emotionally. I desperately missed my family while on tour, and I felt very lonely. My decision to leave the band was rooted in a deep need to prioritize my mental and physical health. I want to give my family the presence and energy they deserve and take care of myself in a way that allows me to thrive. I view this next chapter as a positive, fresh beginning that can hopefully inspire others to speak and live their own truth, even when it's hard. I wish the band continued success, and to the fans who have stood by me, I want to thank you for your compassion and words of kindness. Your support has been a source of strength for me, and while I'm closing this chapter, I'm excited to explore a new path forward, one grounded in love, respect.
Boy, if that doesn't hit hard this week, huh?
No kidding. Like just getting to a point like this where you're able to tackle your demons, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's both, whether it's other things, is such a challenge in and of itself. But if you can get to that point where you're able to take any kind of step forward in creating that path to being a better, healthier version of you, take it. If that means changing things in your life, if it means stepping away from the band you're in, if it means whatever, you do what you gotta do for you.
This isn't about Primus anymore, is it?
It's about Primus and everybody else in the world. It's about everybody. It's about humans.
Very, very fair. That said, you don't like Primus, do you?
No, I mean, I know they did the South Park game, but that's about it that I like from them. So.
They're just way too quirky for you.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I get it.
But I appreciate what he's saying though, like, and I hope nothing for the best for him, you know. Yeah.
It does remind me of the only time I saw Primus was the original lineup.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Matt. I won tickets from the local rock station here.
Okay.
I was the one person that actually won tickets on there.
Nice.
Went, and it was at the Orpheum. It was nothing but a cloud of smoke the entire time there.
Yeah.
Like, it was the highest secondhand high that you could ever have, basically.
Holly was just hanging there.
Well, they only had like 2 inflatable astronauts on stage. That was like all their stage props.
Okay.
And it wasn't until the last song that they started moving. And then afterwards, drove home, driving on 94, you know, going all the way from Minneapolis back to our hometown. I was going about 90 because I was high. We stopped at Wendy's.
Okay. I would have guessed
w-
White Castle, but
Yeah, we stopped at Wendy's. I asked him. He wanted to go to Wendy's. And we both ordered like $20 of food. And this was back when I was in high school. So $20 of Wendy's was a lot of food.
Yeah.
And, it was we both really, really had the munchies.
Yes.
It was a fun show, but quirky is the word to use to describe all of it.
Oh, definitely.
And you would have hated it. You would have hated every second of it.
Yeah.
They didn't do the South Park theme. They didn't do anything like that.
Yep.
Might have been acknowledged, but I think that was it.
Well, moving on to some other music news. So, Nightwish's manager,
Oh, here we go.
Iwo Pojola, has been charged with assault from an incident back in October of 2023. So apparently, he strangled a woman during a Music Act Media event held in Tampere.
As one is tended to.
Yes. The woman claims she was approached by a visibly drunk Pojola and a second unidentified man at a bar during the event. Pojola left the bar, and after the woman spoke with the second man for a period of time, Pojola returned and put his hands around her neck in a tight stranglehold. Pojola allegedly said it felt exciting before leaving. A second woman had also come forward with a similar accusation against Pojola, but did not press any charges. The second woman claims that Pojola approached her at a bar and forcefully pulled her close to him by her hair. Pojola was allegedly ejected from the bar shortly thereafter. Pojola hasn't commented on to the charges at this time and previously denied any wrongdoing. Back in February, he had said, "I have no idea about the whole thing." The Nightwish camp as well has been reached out to, and they are not making any comment on the ongoing situation at this time. So yeah,
I don't even have words.
I know.
What is it with Nightwish and their managers?
Was there other stuff?
Yeah, like one of their other managers did like some really shady stuff. I'm kind of forgetting
geez.
what it is too, but
I don't think I ever heard about that.
Yeah, some nighttime reading for you later to look that up. Nightwish has not had the best luck with managers.
Yeah, like just men, boys, United States for sure, all across the world. Stop being like this. Just stop it. What is wrong with you?
There's nothing easier in the world than not touching someone else.
Yeah.
Especially someone that doesn't want to be touched.
My body is not your choice.
No.
And if you come at me, I will rip off your choice. Moving onward. Well, Phil Segroso has quit As I Lay Dying as well now.
So it just leaves Tim Lambesis now.
Yep. He put out the statement, "Hey everyone, thank you for your patience as I took time to gather my thoughts before speaking on the current state of As I Lay Dying. With recent events, including the departure of band members and the cancellation of our European tour ahead of a new album release, it's clear we're in a difficult and serious situation. Simply put, recent actions have shown that As I Lay Dying no longer offers a healthy or safe environment for anyone involved, whether creatively, personally, or professionally. After witnessing some concerning patterns of behavior, I realized that I can no longer, in good conscience, enable further actions that could negatively affect anyone working within this space. For these reasons, I feel it is my best interest to completely distance myself, both creatively and personally, from As I Lay Dying. I also want to share my full support for Ryan, Ken, and Nick, who made the choice to step away recently. I'm grateful for our accomplishments and friendship over the past 3 years. With 21 years that I have dedicated to this band, it does not sit well with me to leave or abandon what I've considered to be my life's work. I don't feel that I or others should be forced out like so many have in the past. After all that's been put into this, I believe that with the right adjustments and restructuring, our music can continue to thrive and explore new possibilities in a healthier environment. Over time, As I Lay Dying has been held back by dysfunction, and I feel that it's no longer my responsibility to bear that burden. Thank you to everyone who has shown support for me and the music As I Lay Dying. I'm looking forward to putting my energy and creativity into new, more positive ventures here." So basically a lot of the same things that the previous members who left the band have been saying, that there's some really crappy shit going on.
You just dropped an S-bomb.
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought I said stuff. I'm
No.
sorry.
You know what? We're leaving it in. I want to do a test.
All right.
I want to see if it negatively affects us or not.
Okay. That's why I said crappy, because I thought I was avoiding it, and then you gave me that look, and I knew it was all over. Anyways, Tim has since put out a statement now as well. The sole survivor. "Hi everyone. I needed some time to process all that has happened recently with AILD. As I reflect, I certainly agree that there was an unhealthy environment that made leaving for a new tour with the previous lineup unrealistic. It has become difficult to figure out even the smallest details, and I admit I can stick wrong to my vision for the future of AILD, even when others think it should go another direction. It saddens me to to think about the behaviors, communication, and patterns of interaction that led up to the tour cancellation. Phil and I no longer see eye to eye personally, creatively, or financially. Discussions during this time prompted his decision to depart first, with each of the touring members deciding to leave shortly after, as they were not interested in going on without him. Unfortunately, that wasn't the order in which everything was made public, as some statements were rushed out during a chaotic time in response to rumors. I fully support each of the guys' decisions, leave, and believe at this time it is best for everyone. With that being said, my door will always remain open to discussing anything directly, as I believe closing communication can lead to many assumptions and problems of its own. Now, regarding what's next, AILD was founded on persistence and determination. For anyone who is familiar with the foundational years from 2000 to 2004, you know that more than 20 people, whom I'm incredibly grateful for, have come and gone to help bring to life this vision I've had in my head since I was 19 years old. I look forward to building a new team and creating an atmosphere that is supportive, positive, and fosters a creative environment. Through Storms Ahead will still be released November 15th. I am proud of what we created and look forward to sharing it with you all. I'm just gonna call BS right here. Like, everybody has basically alluded to there's some really bad stuff going on, and not exactly a shocker after what this monster was convicted of. And now he's like, it's just a difference of opinion. We just can't see eye to eye on stuff anymore. BS. There are some skeletons in your closet that are going to be coming out any moment.
Fart. Yeah, that's all that's left in the band now. It's just a big wet fart.
Yes.
Yeah, anyone who believes Tim is a absolute moron.
Probably a Trump supporter.
Probably. Just like that picture I showed you before of the hash brown from McDonald's, and someone just took a bite of it with the wrapper on the side. You know, none of this matters anymore.
So true.
Yeah, I just can't believe that this is gonna be like the third incarnation of the band, somehow, some way. And people are still putting money into it. You can still hire press, you can still hire a label, you can still get bands to open for you.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you want to support someone like this?
I mean, again, look at who we just elected president.
It's exactly why Iced Earth is coming back in 2026.
Yes. And the final bit of music news, the Grammys have been announced. Obviously we're not going to go through most of them because, well, we don't care about any of them, but we'll go through what the nominations are for Album of the Year and Best Metal Performance.
Look, the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I found it funny that I found the Album of the Year contenders and I said that these don't match my Album of the Year contenders. That is the only reason this is getting brought up. Also, I always find it interesting to see which bands are categorized in the metal category.
Yeah.
And as soon as you hear the name, you know who's gonna win this coming year.
Of course.
Even though they didn't put out anything this year, they're still gonna win.
Doesn't matter.
Now, are we doing the metal one first, or are we doing Album of the Year?
We'll do Album of the Year first.
Okay.
So the nominations for Album of the Year, we have Andre 3000 with
The Giant.
Sun.
the best Gene costume from Bob's Burgers is
Yes.
Andre 3000 the Giant.
That is true. Beyonce with Cowboy Carter, Billie Eilish with Hit Me Hard and Soft, Chapel Rowan with The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, Charlie XCX with Brat, Jacob Collier with Jesse Volume 4, Sabrina Carpenter, My Girl with Short Tweet, and Taylor Swift with The Tortured Poets Apartment.
Well, obviously you bury the lead on who you want to win Album of the Year.
I mean, Sabrina Carpenter is the only one I like from this list.
Andre 3000 Outcast. What are you talking about?
I enjoyed some Outcast songs.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what this album is all about.
I don't care either, but Outkast has done better than anything else that's on this list.
Well, yeah, I put Andre second place.
If that HOTTOGO song wins anything,
yeah,
I won't be able to stop punching the screen. No, it's not the song, it's not her, it's a local station that we listen to in the car that constantly keeps playing that ad nauseum.
It's true.
But I have absolutely no skin in the game when it comes to these albums for Album of the Year.
No.
0 out of 8, no notes. I got nothing.
I understand.
You?
I understand. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy Sabrina Carpenter, so.
What is it about her? I'm genuinely curious because the last pop anything I've ever seen you care about was Bruno Mars before he took a turn in quality.
Like, I enjoy the fact that Sabrina is like very tongue-in-cheek, like very like she's a good girl, but there's a dirty side there too. I like dirty.
Isn't that all of them?
Most of them don't. Well, most of them are either like blatantly gross about it or
or
no, I would never. Whereas like Sabrina's just like funny about it, yeah.
Well, considering considering her aunt is Nancy Cartwright, Bart Simpson.
Yes, that is true.
I can't get over that.
I know. It's so strange.
All right, and before I have to take a deuce, let's get into the best metal performance.
Yeah, so...
let's go over these one by one.
Yeah. Okay, so up first we have Gojira with Marina Viotti and Victor Lemessane with Mia Culpa a Sarira.
Did they do a recorded, like, studio version of this, or is it just the one from the Olympics?
I have no idea.
Granted, I'm happy to see it.
Yeah.
It's just, that wasn't actually released on anything unless it was the live version of it from the Olympics.
Maybe.
Which I don't think should count.
Yeah.
I know it's best metal performance, but it should be like something you recorded in the studio.
I have no idea what counts as not metal performance. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I've never seen like best live song or best anything like that in so long.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if they count that anymore.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Up next, Judas Priest with Crown of Thorns.
Don't know the song, didn't listen to the album because I gave up on Judas Priest after Nostradamus. So, shoot me.
Yeah, no. I haven't listened to them. I mean, I can't remember what the last album I really listened to was even.
Well, it had to have been the album that you saw him with Whitesnake on. I think that was Nostradamus, or
maybe.
Might have been Angel of Retribution. I can't remember when that.
I don't know.
When you were with your old boyfriend.
No, we were broken up though.
I know, but you still went with your old boyfriend, did you not? Those were the words that I used.
Those are the words, yes, yeah. But I didn't listen to that album or anything. It just happened to be at that time. So.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Up next, Knocked Loose featuring Poppy with Suffocate.
Yeah, they are basically like the bro hardcore band.
Oh, okay. So,
just
right
like
up my alley.
Everything that you love about bro, that's Knocked Loose.
Okay. Great.
And Poppy is like she did a lot of like NXT themes and stuff like that.
I remember that name there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not for me. Oh, imagine this.
Hold on to your hats.
Metallica with Screaming Suicide.
A song that came out last year
Uh-huh.
is nominated this year and will win next year.
Yeah.
Metallica has not lost any category that they've been nominated for since the Jethro Tull thing.
It's just so stupid.
Like, they feel like they have to constantly apologize to Metallica for the Jethro Tull thing. They can't let them lose.
No.
No one else can win if Metallica is nominated.
Nope. I hate Metallica. Y'all know I hate Metallica. So.
I don't know the song. I don't hate them with the vigor that you do.
Right.
I'm just so completely burnt out that I have no desire.
I get it.
So is that hate? For some people that is. Yeah. I just wash my hands of it.
Get it. And finally we have Spirit Box with Cellar Door.
They had one song I dug and everything else I have not enjoyed whatsoever.
Yeah, I've heard the name, but I don't know if I've heard them or not.
Girl singer, she was like constantly screaming all the time. There's some newer songs that sound like corn riffs. We talked about them on Hot Sexy Singles.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't think you'd remember the songs, but you might remember what she looks like. And I remember you saying, I don't like her voice.
That sounds right. Like her voice.
And I don't like the majority of the news that we did. There's a lot of terrible, terrible things that we talked about.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got some breaking news as we're recording this. We actually started recording the next segment while we were having some fun, a little bit of fun bickering that we always like to do. All of that came to a screeching halt as one of the worst things that could happen for the Metal Faerie when it comes to her entertainment choices has sadly happened, as one of her favorite actors of all time, who reprised one of her favorite horror roles of all time, Candyman, Mr. Tony Todd, has sadly passed away at the age of 69. His representative did not go into any further detail yet. As of recording this, most likely by the time that you hear this episode, more information will have come to light, but I just came across this as we were recording the last segment, and we had to put this into the show because this is some of the most heartbreaking news that could potentially happen for the Metal Faerie, and I'm just going to let her say her piece before we try to continue on with the rest of the show and just try to have a fun rest of the show. So, Metal Faerie, please be my guest.
Yeah, still kind of crying, so fighting through my tears, but No, Candyman, the entire series I love, even though I know the second and third movies are not considered the best, but Candyman has always been one of my favorite movies, like top 3 always. And Tony Todd has always been one of my favorite actors since I was a little kid. Like, he just had a presence about him that so few actors and actresses have to them. And he just brought such a mood to the Candyman character that, yes, it's a villain, it's a horror villain, but it was such a tragic story, and he brought so much emotion to it that you felt for them at the same time, which doesn't happen a lot of times with horror villains. And he just, it's something that he brought to every role he did. I felt like he was a different caliber, and it's really sad that he is gone. And it's been a week, has it not? This is just another thing on top of it. Oh Lord. But super sad that he's gone. And if you haven't watched his movies, if you haven't watched Candyman, go watch it. It's not just another horror movie. It's very poignant. It tears apart society of, at the time, current, like 90s, but also decades in the past as well. And just, it's so good. Yeah, that's what I got right now.
Thank you. All right, as I did mention a minute or two ago, we did try recording this segment, and then we learned of the passing of Tony Todd, which is a very prominent figure in this household, and had to put everything to a stop once I learned everything about that. We're still going to try to have a fun show, still going to try to make each other giggle and make each other mad and all this stuff that we normally do for the show.
Yes.
Just know that I am in tremendous amounts of physical and mental pain, and now the Metal Faerie, while trying to celebrate her birthday show, is now in tears after learning one of her favorite actors of all time have died. So if it's not the cheeriest rest of the episode that you've ever heard for a podcast, I do apologize. But let's try to ring in your 43rd year round the sun with a segment that we were originally going to be doing on the previous episode before I ended up in the hospital.
Right.
What did you want to do for your birthday?
Yeah, so, I mean, both of us have very well-rounded tastes in music, I would say.
I listen to heavy and metal.
Right? Which a lot of people don't expect when you hear, oh, you listen to metal music? Okay. But there are other things we like as well.
That's right, goth girl.
Exactly. But no, I just thought it'd be fun to do our lists of our favorite non-heavies. And there's a lot of discussion early on about like what all we're gonna include with that. And I ended up going even lighter than we talked about, because we talked about like, you know, what shades of goth would be included, what kind of shades of whatever would be included. But I determined I would just have way too much if I included some of those like in between shades. So I think we both had kind of similar methods going into this, of like just picking songs that we've heard a lot on the radio throughout the years or other forms of media that we just really enjoyed. And I don't think either of us have a specific like order of them or anything. I started to try to do mine, but I didn't get there, so it's not any kind of order.
Mine's in alphabetical order.
Okay.
I would have tried to put these in order, but you know, some stuff happened, so that kind of put the kibosh on all of it.
And you have 15, I have 20.
Yeah, so if you just want to take those bottom 5 or the 5 that didn't make top 15, however you want to look at it, let's just start with that
first. Okay, so up first, I have None of Your Business by Salt and Peppa. My girls from the early 90s, this was my album in my middle school days. And anytime this song comes on, I sing the entire thing. You know this. I sing it to you.
And of course, my favorite version is the Bob's Burgers episode about where they do a parody cover of this about trick-or-treating.
Yes, yeah.
If you think my cavities are a tragedy, it's none of your business.
But yeah, I love this song. It's so much attitude. It's fun. Up next, I have Point of No Return by Expose. They had a few hits back in the like later 80s, I believe it was. I'm probably gonna get the years wrong for all of these. But they're just a fun group. I think they're still touring occasionally now even, but this song in particular is just epitomizes that like 80s 90s freestyle girl group vibe, and I absolutely love it. Up next is The End of the World by Skeeter Davis. So this is an older song. Oh gosh, I think it was even before the 50s that it came out.
Back when people were named Skeeter.
Back when people were named Peter. I shouldn't be named Peter because, you know, I'm a mosquito brain.
I thought it was a flea brain.
Fleas
and mosquitoes are not the same thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I've known of this song and loved this song for many years, but definitely when you got me into Fallout, that kind of reinvigorated my love of this song. So they know it's the end of the world. it's so innocent sounding, yet so tragic at the same time. And I mean, if anything else describes me, that is it.
It's true.
Yeah. Up next, I have California Love.
Really?
Tupac.
Really?
What do you mean, really? You know I crank that anytime I hear it.
You do that for a lot of songs you don't even like.
As a joke, then I turn right back down.
Yeah.
But California Love, I leave on.
Okay.
I love this song.
Okay.
I never really listened to much else from Tupac back in the day. There was a few other kind of rap songs from that early 90s phase that I enjoyed, but this song I absolutely love. Like, it's just so catchy, and I have it on full blast every time. And the final of my 5 songs is It's Just a Little Crush. Crush by Jennifer Page. This is the only song I know by her. I don't know if she ever had any other singles or whatnot, but it's such a catchy song. I've always just thoroughly enjoyed this song. And then, of course, when it was used for the wrestler Little Crush, that just reminded me of my love of it.
See it.
So now we're both at 15.
All right. And again, this is my list. I'll go first now since you did 5 in a row.
Yes.
Mine is in alphabetical order according to Spotify. And, we should probably put this all together in one big list so people see what we listen to outside of.
Yes, absolutely.
I made a list several years ago called It Can't Be Heavy All the Time.
Right. Of course, that's your name for it.
And that's where I got these songs from.
Yes.
Starting with number 1, it is Two Live Crew with Dick Almighty.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's the original WAP. Everyone who got upset with Megan Thee Stallion and who was the other one?
I don't know.
Well, there was 2 singers on there. I forgot who the other one was. But singing about the vajayjay.
Yes.
This is the exact same song 30 years ago, except for the peni.
The male perspective.
It's the exact same song. And I don't understand why people were so offended by WAP when Dick Almighty exists.
You mean WAP, by the way?
Is it WAP?
ASS? WAP? Wouldn't it be?
It could be.
Okay.
It's one of the two.
It's an A, not an O, so I would assume.
Well, it depends on if you do a long A or a short A.
Okay.
However you want to pronounce it.
However you want to pronounce
All right, WAP. If WAP is the right pronunciation, I apologize.
As you should. I hope Megan's listening.
And I should point it out right now that I don't have any Richard Cheese covers on here because they are covers. I tried to go with original songs on here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would probably have thrown Richard Cheese Bad on here because that is like his single greatest achievement.
It is so good.
And speaking of that, we didn't talk about the new Richard Cheese album.
Right, we didn't.
Blue No Matter Who, which might as well do it now because it's Richard Cheese doing like piano lounge sad F-boy versions of songs.
Yeah. And
a couple of them made you cry.
Yeah. Well, and listening to that is part of the reason that this list came about. It inspired this. So.
Which is why I brought it up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's not a funny album.
No.
It's the only Richard Cheese album that you're probably not going to get a giggle out of.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it for the most part.
I did too.
There's some songs from some artists I'll never like.
There's some I didn't know.
But the ones that worked really, really well.
100%. All right. My next song is Waltz Across Texas by Ernest Tubb.
Of all songs.
So I will fully put out there, like, when I was a youngster, I grew up in a family where there was a lot of 50s and earlier, like, country, rock, it's not that much listening at home, but like one of my uncles was in a band that did a lot of that, and we would go listen to them all the time, and my mom loved music of that variety, so throughout the years I've heard a lot of it there. But also fast forward to like the later 90s, there was always those infomercials with like Golden
Time
Country.
Life presents
Classic country, and I ate those up because it was all music I had heard before, and it just was like a little reminder of my past. And to this day, there's definitely some that I don't love, but like there are some country artists and songs and stuff from the olden days that I absolutely love, and Ernest Tubb is one of them. And I think Waltz Across Texas is just one of the sweetest, loveliest songs ever. Like, listen to it and tell me it's not just an endearing song.
Oh, I'm quite familiar with the song. It's just I'm just surprised to see like any like songs that were like on Fallout or like really have more of like that country feel. I understand. It's just I'm just still kind of taken aback that you have more country on here than I thought you were gonna have.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Mainly because I never hear you listen to.
These are more things I listen to on my own. Yeah.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
All right. Well, me going back in time. The greatest musician who died in Clear Lake, Iowa is up next with the Big Bopper and Chantilly Lace.
Wrong.
Right.
No. No.
All right, I'm putting this out there. Anyone listening? Is it Richie Valens? No. Is it Buddy Holly? Or is it the Big Bopper? Yes, it is.
Big Bopper is third out of those.
You're right, because I said him third, but he's actually in first place.
No, he's in third place. Speaking as the one who has been to the grave site, or the plane crash site,
I've been to Clear Lake, Iowa as well.
Did you go to the plane crash site?
No, only drove by it because I was with my dad when he was delivering a load.
Did you go to the ballroom and where they play their last show and see a show there?
No, and I don't also have the fake poster that never really existed either.
Whatever, I was there. I saw a show there.
You didn't see any of them because you weren't even thought of when this happened.
I know I didn't see them there, but I saw a show there and I went to the crash site.
The Big Bopper's in first place, and
no,
I will be damned if I don't understand why he is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I've never taken the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame seriously because the Big Bopper is not in there. It is one of the only musical hills I will ever die on. The Big Bopper deserves to be in the frickin' Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If Richie Valens and Buddy Holly can be in there, why can't the Big Bopper?
I'll give you that. Yeah, absolutely. But out of the three, he's the third.
Yes, because I said him third.
No,
he is in first place.
Up next.
Oh, I'm sorry. When I was in high school, I actually directed my high school band in a version of La Bamba.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I actually was the band conductor for that. So this is Mr. Conductor here. I know what I'm talking about. The Big Bopper's in first place. Thank you.
Old rank. Up next, I have Let the Music Play. Da, 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 da. Shannon with Let the Music Play.
Shannon. What is with you and the one-hit wonders?
Like you don't have any one-hit wonders on your list?
Yeah, but I also don't go out of my way to listen to most.
Then what is this list? What is this list, Shmoo?
It's your list.
What is this list?
It's your list.
And why are they on the list, Shmoo? Why are they on the list?
Continue on.
Anyways, so this is kind of along the same lines as Expose. I feel like they're very much in the same vein. Just fun 80s dancey music, and it's amazing. Yeah.
If you can give me crap about my love of the Big Bopper, I'm gonna give you crap for every single other person you put on here.
Fine, likewise.
We'll see. Reinvigorating my love of this song comes from the movie World's Greatest Dad, starring Robin Williams, and also the many commercials I heard for the AARP tour when he played at the XL Energy Center. It is Bruce Hornsby with The Way It Is. As you will hear more than one time in this list, I am a sucker for a piano hook. I am a sucker for piano hooks.
Yeah.
And when you do it right, I will like it. I don't care how cheesy it is. Actually, that song holds up way better than you think it does when you look at the lyrics and how they're a part of it now, because it's about racism in the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
Look at it now in 2024 and tell me that it doesn't hold up now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
I always enjoyed the song even back when it was on KS95 back in the day. Again, you're gonna hear me talk about it other times. I'm a sucker for a good piano hook.
I get it. Up next on my end, I have Backstreet Boys with Incomplete. I love the Backstreet Boys.
One of the lesser known Backstreet Boys songs.
I love the Backstreet Boys. I love their entire discography. But this song, I feel like it's a little bit more grown up, a little bit more emotional, a little bit more deeper, and you just fall into it and feel the feels with this one, and it's beautiful.
Tom?
Fourscore.
It's not the four scores, Dad. It's fourscore. Next up, most people will know this as the theme song to Big Mouth, but it is a Black Sabbath cover done by Charles Bradley, Changes.
Yes.
I know I mentioned before I don't have Richard Cheese on here because those are all covers, but those are parody covers.
Yeah.
This is like a full-on reimagining of the Black Sabbath song, which I never liked the original.
Yeah, no.
But I love this version of it.
It is a banger. The banger.
I love the brass section. I love how Charles Bradley just sings his freaking heart out in this. I just love everything about it, and I love that Big Mouth used it for a theme song.
It is so fitting.
I knew the song before it was in Big Mouth, and I just find it so appropriate that it's in there as well, too.
Yeah.
I just love the song.
Very nice. Up next, I have I Fall to Pieces by Patsy Cline.
Again, more country.
I know.
Now, is this Stockholm Syndrome from when you were a kid?
No.
Okay.
No. I think Patty had one of the most beautiful, strong voices ever. And there's just something very, just emotional about her voice. It's a subtlety, but it's there, and it shines through absolutely. And I love this song.
That is That's very fair. I totally understand. Now, this one might come as a shock, but please understand. I have Frank Zappa with Valley Girl.
Okay.
I would have put any other Frank Zappa song on here, but I was trying so very, very hard not to do anything prog rock, hard rock, anything like that. I was trying to do something that was very different than what I normally listen to.
Yeah.
So I went with one of his poppiest songs, featuring Moon Zappa.
Yes.
Oh my god. Who I didn't realize was in Curb Your Enthusiasm until a couple weeks ago.
No idea.
Which I find very hilarious. But yeah, it's the perfect 80s song about the California 80s girl stereotype. And Moon Zappa just plays the character so perfectly.
Very nice.
Are you familiar with the song?
I've heard it before, yeah.
Okay. It's his biggest hit, which is so shocking.
Yes, yes. Up next, I have In Vogue with Don't Let Go. I love In Vogue. I feel like they were one of the best and most underrated like female R&B groups. Their first album was fun, but this album I felt like just like brought them to another level. It wasn't as like forcefully trying to be pop culture-y. Like this one was like more subdued, but like their voices just shined on this song, and I have them.
I know if I heard it, I would know what it is, but I just don't know it by title.
When we get done, we're gonna put these all together in a list, and we're gonna listen to them as we play games.
And we will also have a link to it in the description so you can see these songs for yourself.
Yeah.
Next up, I have the only ska song I think I truly enjoy from Goldfinger with Superman.
Okay.
One reason alone, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I heard the song so many times, it might have been from Stockholm Syndrome. How many times I've heard this, that's why I still enjoy it to this day. And also when you listen to the lyrics now, it's about looking back on the passage of time, which it's kind of like listening to do 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 do, where you think it's just this happy-go-lucky song until you listen to the lyrics and realize it's about a heroin addict. This one is about like an old man looking back on his life.
Yeah.
Old man, you look at your life. No, I don't have Neil Young on here, but I did feel that was appropriate.
Up next, I have Shy with If I Ever Fall in Love. And if I ever fall in love again. Oh, girl. This is a swooner. Their voices are just so smooth together, and it's just so catchy. Oh, I love it.
Right on. Next up, you'll be proud of me for this one.
Okay.
John Cicada with Just Another Day.
Yes! Love this song.
For the same reason I gave a few songs ago, I am a sucker for a good piano hook.
Yes.
And this is one of the best 90s piano hooks of all time.
So good, so good. Up next, I have Rhythm as a Dancer by Snap. Like, it's
just your whole soundtrack Night at Roxbury.
No.
I know, I'm joking.
Okay, so there was a period, like, middle school age for me, so, like, early 90s, where there was a few years where there was just an elite tier of, like, club music, that was, like, popular on, like, mainstream radio, and I love everything about it. Everything about it.
Was that when you were trying to fit in?
What do you mean, trying to fit in?
I don't know. Like, I just figured if that's what was popular on the radio and stuff like that, you were, like, trying to be with cool kids or something.
No, but I did pop radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I never had that phase. Like, I was in the car and I heard that stuff, but I just, like, I never went out of my way to listen to that stuff.
Well, I liked it. That's why I listened to
No,
it.
I mean, like, even like, you're like most people and you have a phase like that. I never did.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm trying to understand it from my point of view, trying to understand it from yours.
Gotcha.
Because I lived a very different life. But anyways, next up, one of the closest things to a heavy song I have on here is The Killers with Mr. Brightside.
Oh, Jesus.
One of the only two songs I like from the band.
Okay.
It's mainly because of Richard Cheese that I found any kind of appreciation for The Killers.
Very nice, very nice.
His drunken version of the other song is just one of the greatest covers ever made. February last year.
Oh, good.
But no, I will say for this one, it's one of the catchiest pre-choruses I've ever heard in a pop song.
That is true, yeah. My next song is PM Dawn with I Die Without You. So along the same lines as Shy, like just like early 90s boy group typing R&B, but just the voices together are just so smooth and
Oh, that's so funny. And then PM Dawn was in Clerks 3 at the very end. They had an unreleased song that
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, right after Dante dies and everything, there's a PM Dawn song.
Yep.
Next up, I have MC Chris with Fet's Vet. I could have picked any MC Chris song on here. There isn't a single song he's written I haven't enjoyed, but I just went with this most popular one. Also for the Kevin Smith reference. See how I did that? I know how to do stuff here. Not only did MC Chris write the theme song to Kevin Smith's Smodcast podcast, but this particular song is in the movie Zack and Miri Make a Porno as they're doing their Star Wars porn parody. Fet's Vet is playing in the background. See, it all ties together. There's a method to my madness.
It does. Up next, I have Another Night by Real McCoy. Another night, another dream away.
Again, Night at the Roxbury. Like,
Yeah.
Richard Grieco.
But yes, exact same reason as Snap. Like, it was that period, and I love it.
I
It
understand.
reminds me of middle school dances.
Well, I see we are a house divided. You're a Tupac fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Biggie fan.
All right.
And I have Juicy by Biggie.
You're lucky I'm not packing.
You're like, yeah, I'm not packing. I mean, I'm packing lots of rolls here. I mean, as I look at myself getting larger. But, no, I always enjoyed this song. It's one of my favorite 90s rap, R&B, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
One of those songs. Yeah.
Very nice. Up next, I have Richie Valens, We Belong Together.
Oh, I see you do want to fight.
Bring it, biatch.
Doing all the swears now.
I said biatch the same. Anyway.
Well, you try telling YouTube that.
Yeah, you do YouTube. Anyways, I love Richie Valens. Like,
Do you love Richie Valens or do you love Lou Diamond Phillips?
both. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me some Lou Diamond Phillips, especially back in the day and when he was Studly Little Man. And La Bamba, I love that movie. I mean, if there was a movie that always makes me cry, it is that movie. Richie!
And then, of course, that song's now used in Mattress Firm commercials.
But I absolutely love Richie Valens. He was so good and gone way too soon, and the whole thing is tragic and blah, blah, blah. But this song is just sweet and adorable and amazing.
You know, you can say all these things about Buddy Holly. You can say all these things about Richie Valens. But the Big Bopper got cut before he could even write his greatest music.
Anyways.
He didn't even get the chance.
What's your next song?
He didn't even
Move
get
it
the
along,
chance.
Toots. Move it along.
My next song is Peeping Tom with Mojo. You would know this one, and I'm going to play it for you after we're done with this.
Okay.
It's Mike Patton doing his Alfred Hitchcock-inspired rap, hip-hop, sensual music.
Okay.
And
okay.
I think as soon as you hear it, you'll know what it is. Because you did like this one.
Okay.
It's one of the only things outside of Faith No More that you enjoy from Mike Patton.
Okay.
It's just I could tell by the name that you don't remember it.
Yeah, no, not by name. Up next, I have Samantha Fox with I Surrender to the Spirit of the Night. I love Samantha Fox, and I loved her when I was a little girl, and I was listening to her music way earlier than I should have been now knowing the context of all of her
You were
songs.
watching Faces of Death like decades before you probably should have.
Well, that is true. Like, I remember me and my friend like making up dances to like Touch Me, I Want Your Body, and like, it's just looking back, it's hilarious. But I love her music. I love how like just open and out there she is.
Going back into the very beginning of your list, I have to bring this up again because I find it to be one of the biggest what were they thinking moments in sitcoms.
Yeah.
With Blossom.
Yes.
Were her in 7 or 6?
6.
Yeah, 6. It's like, hi mom, I know you're living in Paris right now, but I just wanted to make this video for you, and we came up with this dance. Are you ready? Let's talk about sex.
Baby. Let's talk about you.
Your mom leaves you to go to Paris and you send her that song that you're dancing
I
to.
know. Oh,
Joey Lawrence haircut.
Jonathan Taylor to sweatshirt.
All right, next up is probably the greatest R&B song ever written by Teddy Pendergrass with Close the Door.
Do I know this one?
You might if you heard it.
Okay.
It's one of the most passionate music to make love to your old lady by R&B songs ever made.
Okay.
It's just one of the greatest songs ever made.
Okay. Up next for me is Taylor Dane, Till It's to My Heart. I mean,
I figured this should have been number 1, I figured.
you know I love me Taylor Dane. Like, she's everything I wanted to be when I was a little girl.
And still to this day.
Still to this-
Showing up on Real Housewives for fundraisers and stuff. All right, next up I have the original Doom song with Tennessee Ernie Ford with Dark as a
Yes.
Dungeon.
I love that we're representing both the Ernies.
Yes. Now, most people would go, you got 16
tons
tons
of
of
water,
water,
you get
another day older and deeper
in
in
debt.
No, I went with Dark as a Dungeon about working in the coal mines, because this is the original Doom song.
Yeah.
This is one of the darkest, saddest, most depressing songs ever made.
Oh, Oh, yeah.
And of course, if you're familiar with Fallout, you know this song as well. But yeah, if you are a Doom fan, or if you just want to know where Doom probably came from, it's Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Yeah,
one of the
that's
most depressing singers of all time.
Yeah, I stand by that. Up next, I have NSYNC with On. So this was from their final album. Again, kind of similar to the Backstreet Boys. Like, I felt like this album was a little bit more adult. And this song is just very dialed back, very just raw and romantic, but sad. And
Right on. Dare to pop. Surprised you didn't put that on there.
You did.
Who says I didn't? Next up, I have Morse Day and the Mother Effin' Time with Jungle Love. Yes, the bad guys from Purple Rain. I love this song.
Yeah.
It is just so frickin' funky. It's better than every other song on the Purple Rain soundtrack. Fight me. I already have people upset with me that I put the Big Bopper on at number 1. I will go ahead and say that Morse Day and the Mother Effin' Time is better than Prince. At least in Purple Rain.
Oh dear. My next song is Elvis with Are You Lonesome Tonight. I love Elvis. I love Elvis. And this is one of my favorite songs by him. It's just sad as can be. And it gets you. It gets when you listen to it.
I wish I could feel the same way about Elvis, but every year I learn something new about him that makes me...
It was a different time.
That's not an excuse.
I know.
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean it. Finally, my last one. Quite potentially the heaviest song I have on the entire thing. It is Vertical Horizon with Everything You Want. Neil Peart's favorite band.
That is hilarious.
John Wesley, formerly of Porcupine Tree, is now the guitarist of Vertical Horizon as well. So there's so many ties that go into this band.
No wonder you love it.
And this song, it's the original switcheroo of the 90s and early 2000s. Because you think it's about this one guy this guy's singing about, where he's everything you want, he's everything you need, he's everything inside of you that you wish you could be. But when he gets around to the final chorus, hold on to your hats, he's talking about himself. I am everything you want. I am everything you need. I am everything inside of you that you wish you could be.
You're like Nelson and seeing what's his face in concert, and bam, there he comes out with
Andy Williams.
Andy Williams.
I didn't think he was gonna sing Moon River, but then bam, second encore.
Oh.
But it's that original switch. I see what you did there. Why didn't they make a movie about this? Only the scholars will get that.
Yeah.
It took a scholar like me for me to have to describe that to you. But
do you like his mansplaining as much as I do?
I'll explain it after the podcast on the behind the scenes podcast if you want to know. If you want to know a little bit more of what
we
I'm
should
talking
have
about.
one where you're just like mansplaining everything that we talked about.
I'll explain more of what the song's about after.
Yeah.
Patreon only, the behind the scenes of the podcast.
Oh, and finally, I have Roy Orbison with Crying. I love Roy. He had one of the most unique but just emotional voices. And it's his singles are very kind of lighthearted. Some of them.
In Dreams is not lighthearted.
No. But some of them are, and I feel like people hear that and they don't dive in because he has some gripping heartbreak song, and you see to give him some time. Yeah.
Well, there you go. That is 25 of our non-heavy songs that we enjoy.
Was there anything that I was missing that you were surprised about?
I'm kind of surprised you didn't go with In Dreams.
Yeah, well, Crying is always my favorite song by him, but I do love In Dreams. I was surprised that you didn't have I Still Believe.
I was trying not to go heavy.
Oh, are we calling that heavy?
You're telling me that saxophone isn't heavy?
Well, I'll be having my own after show.
Look, that was rock. I was trying to do as many, that was supposed to be like a hard rock band in The Lost Boys. I was trying to avoid anything that was prog rock, hard rock, anything like that.
Okay.
That's why Vertical Horizon was the heaviest thing that I had part of this.
Fine, I get it.
Now, if it would have been like rock songs instead of metal, you bet your sweet bippy that I Still Believe would have been on there. If not number one.
How old are you?
Oh, you don't understand how many times I watched that as a kid.
What?
Oh, a variety show, the 60s, Goldie Hawn. I'll remember it later, but that's where it comes from. You can bet your sweet bippy.
Okay.
All right, wrap this up as I do the thing that I always do.
Well, this has been our top non-heavy songs. We, of course, again, will be combining these all together and putting them up on,
Laugh in.
on Spotify for your enjoyment. And the link will be down below.
All right, we're gonna take the last two segments of the show and just make it into one because our hot, sexy singles section is only 2 songs. So what's the point in separating them?
Exactly.
Yeah, so, the hot, sexy singles this week. Only 2 songs, polar opposite songs in the heavy world.
Oh, yeah.
One is very lighthearted and the other is depressing AF, as the kids used to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, up first we have Majestica with Powertrain.
Yes, the title track off their brand new album coming out in 2025 and early contender for Power Metal Album of the Year.
Possibly. Yeah, I really love what I'm hearing so far. Like, Majestica's always amazing. But yeah, I'm excited for what all this album has to offer.
Yeah, I know they're not doing a Christmas carol again, but I like what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, the first album wasn't a Christmas album, obviously, but
yeah.
you know, they're going back to writing more traditional power metal, but both songs have been fast, fun, and he just looks like he's having a jolly old time, and I like seeing that.
Exactly.
Not that he didn't have fun in Sabaton, I'm sure he did, and I'm sure he loved the paycheck that came with it.
Yeah.
But, you know, just Majestica's better.
Oh, so much better. And then up next we have Hangman's Chair with Kowloon Light? I'm not sure.
I am not sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
It's the second single off their brand new album that's also coming out in 2025, Sad Diction. And boy, does this video more than live up to that title.
Yeah.
With guns and nooses and needles and tears and all in this neon metropolis that looks like a prison.
Yeah.
Their previous album, Aloner, I find to be one of the greatest albums of the 2020s. Perfect combination of 80s goth and doom. And on this album, they're really more embracing the 80s and more 90s goth this time around. Like, I'm hearing a lot more of like the Type O influence coming through more than, say, Candlemass or My Dying Bride this time around.
Yeah.
It's more mid-tempo, or at least more up-tempo than their other material, which I'm kind of surprised by. It's almost toe-tapping, despite how sad it is. That said, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm sure it's going to be the feel-bad hit of the year.
It's true. Yeah, no, I really liked it. I mean, it's super emotional still, even though it has, like you said, a little more toe-tapping, but it still has that depressing aura to it as well, and it's just really good, though.
And that's it for Hot Sexy Singles.
That's
so
right.
Now you can see why we put this into one segment here. As we go into the final segment, Out Today and What I Missed for, as of recording this, it's technically accurate, November 8th, 2024. This is the last regular segment of Out Today and What I Missed for the year. As I mentioned in the previous episode, and I mentioned it in the beginning of this episode, and I'll bring it up again. Next week will be the final episode of Out Today and What I Missed for 2024, where I cover everything that comes out that day, some stuff I missed, and some albums that are coming out after the 15th of November, and I'm calling it a day because 530 albums is enough in one year for me, and my body said I need to stop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it did.
last week it told, or well, technically still this week, it told me to stop, so I am stopping. Even though I know I am missing albums that would probably make my top 100, but it's what I gotta do to stay alive, so if you don't like it, suck it.
Kick rock.
So, got 19 here. It was originally going to be 20, but I forgot to write a review, so I put it into next week, which will be 11.
Yes.
So, the first one up is the band A Scar for the Wicked with Acatheus. I really like this. It's technical, it's orchestrated, it's brutal, it's sophisticated. It's got a lot of deathcore elements to it, but it's kind of got like the Flesh God kind of side of it, where they know how to do breakdowns, but make it very, very enjoyable for my kind of taste. I enjoy it.
Yeah, there's things I like. Like, it has very catchy guitar, but I feel like I need to hear a little bit more of them to really get a feel for it. I just heard the one.
Well, that's how we do it with all of these.
Yes, but just reminding the people.
Just in case people are not familiar.
Yeah.
The Metal Faerie does not check out all the albums that I do.
Yep.
She checks out usually a song
Yeah.
from all of these, because I'm not going to have her tortured and listen to stuff that she doesn't want to listen to.
Exactly.
If she hears a song that she likes and she wants to be able to continue down that path, that is her prerogative. She does what she wants to do. Britney Spears cover.
That's my prerogative.
Remember when she did that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Surprised you didn't put that one on there. But
Not that, but another Britney song was in the running.
But anyways, yeah, that's how we do that. Like, I go through these albums. The Metal Faerie goes through a song that either is a single before the album comes out, or if it's one that I missed, it's a song that I feel does the best representation of the album or my favorite song off the album, depending on how it goes. Just in case you were curious. And how many albums do you have in the running this year for your tops? I mean, you're not listening to as much as I am, right? I mean, you only gotta have like, what, 10, 20?
So I haven't gone through the last few weeks of music yet, like in deeper depth to add to the list. But last time I started the top list, I was at 94.
So you got 6 more to add, and then you'll have the same amount as I do.
No, I'm gonna somehow. I don't know how, but I will.
But all you gotta do is add 6. It's just 6. Who's Blossom's best friend? 6.
Shut up! Let's go through the next song.
Well, next up, we got some really cool melodic death metal here from the band Disparaged, who have been around since the early 2000s with a brand new album, Down the Heavens. I love this album. It is just some of the most fantastically written mellow death of the year. It is more death metal focused, but it has the right amount of melodic moments that are going on here that technically make it melodic death metal. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was very catchy, synthy, very powerful sounding. Yeah, really like it.
Next up, another one in the front runner, I believe, for the Metal Faerie's top 100 once she eventually gets this going, is the debut album from Earthburner, which features past and present members of Broken Hope and Glory Hole Guillotine and Sangwa Sugabog with the album Permanent Dawn. It is 21 minutes of death grind of the Metal Faerie's variety. Raw as possible, full of the very ringy snare that's at the top on their unintelligible vocals. It's everything that you love, right?
I mean, you know me. I love this stuff. It is beautiful. No, it's headache inducing. It's 2 brutals, and there's a second harsh vocal that is just horrendous.
I was supposed to interview them before things started falling apart.
Yeah, should be on the call with you. Hey.
All right, next up, I have Chris Impellitteri. I never know how to pronounce his last name. Impellitteri, yes. Chris Impellitteri with War Machine. It's everything that you know him for. It's the shredding guitar that you know him for. It's the neoclassical stuff. It's the hard rock, power metal. It's just everything that you know him for, and it's fantastic stuff.
Yeah, super, super catchy. I really like it.
Thank you for teaching me how to pronounce words. I need that occasionally.
Yeah, and I could be pronouncing it off a little bit too, but who knows?
Well, one that you completely missed the boat on as we were doing this before. It is the band, which is all one word, I Slept on the Moon. With Only the Stars Know My Misfortune. This is the 3rd album from this anonymous one-man black metal band from Atlanta that is very much in the post-rock shoegaze side of black gaze, post-black. I find it very beautiful and ethereal. I really enjoy this one.
Yeah, so I read it as Isle Ptanth Emo On. But yeah, when it like kicks in, there's some nice melody to it, but there's just not enough there to bring me back to it.
You're so wrong. Next up is the latest from this French prog band known as Clone with the Unseen. I have always been a Clone fan. Of course, you may know the singer of Clone who did a guest spot on Sacred Cargo by MMXX or 2020, however you wish to pronounce it. I told the Metal Faerie this before, and I'm going to tell her this again. She needs to check out this album because I think she'll feel the same way about Clone that she does about Antimatter, especially when it comes to the vocal delivery.
Yeah, for me, at first I'll say there's some good looking fellers in this band. No reaction.
No. Well, it's just, I'm so used to seeing that. Either you completely bag on how they look or you're completely attracted.
Yeah, that's true. I really like the vocals. He has a really nice voice. When it kicked in, there's some catchy stuff. Other than that, the song that we heard, it was a little dull outside of that. But like you said, like there's probably some good stuff in other songs I need to check out. So
yes, I think you're gonna have the same kind of reaction that you do with Antimatter. Yeah. Next up is the band Make Them Suffer with their self-titled self-titled album. I figured this was going to be a Cannibal Corpse clone because the song is from Cannibal Corpse. The band name is from that, but no. They have a lot of metalcore to them. They have a lot of electronic. They have gent. They have a very catchy female clean vocals going on with this. None of that I associate with Cannibal Corpse.
No.
So I'm gonna have to go back and check out the rest of their discography to see if it's anything that would be up my alley, because I like what I'm hearing here.
Yeah, so the song I listened to, when I first heard the beginning of it, I wasn't sold, but then the female vocals kick in, which are great, and it gets super, super catchy then. So it was another bait and switch for me.
Metalcore is just bait and switch for you.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Bait and switch.
No, it's bait and bait! Bait and bait! Next up is the band Molder with Catastrophic Reconfiguration. This is the old school death metal and 90s death doom that you would expect. Not the 90s death doom of the Peaceville 3, but more of bands like Incantation, Asphyx, and Autopsy, where it's more death metal and it gets a little bit slower, but then also the old school death metal sound. And especially the vocals remind me so much of Asphyx, which I know is very, very choice for some people, where you really have to have a fine ear if you're going to appreciate those kind of vocals. I do, but not everyone here does.
Yeah, this is not for me. I wouldn't quite say they're local scene, because I can tell there's some talent there. But I can still see them playing Club Underground.
Yeah, that is so mean. That is so mean.
True.
Next up, in the polar opposite direction, is the latest solo album from Ray Hawthorne with Ray Hawthorne Sucks. This is a very emotionally driven pop punk. I got this as a random promo in my email, and I've been enjoying it ever since. The more I listen to it, the more I connect to it, and it's almost gotten to the point where stop, I don't want to be seen, is how it feels with the lyrics. Like, it hits me on that kind of level. I really do appreciate it.
I thought it was catchy, but I don't know that I'd go back to it. It's like, it's punky, but it has this hokey quality to it that I just don't like.
And you're so wrong. You were so wrong.
I haven't been.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
A broken promise is a lot like a child's pinwheel. You gotta be yourself, or at least within the confines.
Exactly.
Next up, we got some German mellow death here from the legendary band Suidakra with Darkanakrod, I hope is how you pronounce it. But I'll just go ahead and bury the lead. It's one of the Metal Faerie's favorite melodic death metal bands. And
why are you giving this away?
Because you turned me on to them,
well,
is what I was trying to.
Okay. Give me my flowers.
Yeah, I was trying to.
Continue.
Now you kind of just threw them in my face now.
Continue.
Yeah. It doesn't happen that often, and it doesn't happen anymore, really. But there was a day where the Metal Faerie actually showed me some bands back in the day, and Suidakra was one of them that I really attached myself towards. I really like their melodic death metal style. I love how they get folky. I love the thrash elements. I love clean vocals that happen with it. I find them to be one of the best Scandinavian sounding melodeath bands to come out of Germany. And this new album just continues that trend. They're not reinventing the wheel on this album, but they really don't need to.
Come to me, butthead. Oh, I love these boys. They just have such an elite to them. They're dynamic, they're heard, they're catchy, they're everything you possibly want.
Next up is an album that I've been waiting to review for months upon months now, and it keeps getting delayed, but it's finally out now. It is the fourth album from the band Tungsten with the Grand Inferno. This comes from Anders Johansson, formerly of Hammerfall. He created this band with his two sons, and also the singer of the band Mind's Key. This covers everything from symphonic metal, power metal, and especially on this album, more pop and modern metal on this one. It's a grand conglomeration of, well, I've seen someone earlier today describe this as Euro Disney metal, and I don't think that's necessarily wrong. There's some songs on here that sound like they are like very dancey, poppy songs on here, and then there's other songs on here that sound like more traditional heavy power metal songs on here as well. I think it's a good mix of both sides.
Ooh, Mr. Dandler. Ooh, Mr. Dandler.
Ooh.
No, it's super catchy. Like, it's a good mix of heavy metal, power metal, and super dynamic sounding. Yep, love it.
Next up is the latest album from the band Witnesses with Joy. One of the most optimistic doom albums that I've ever come across. Don't get me wrong, it is still dark. It is still saccharine. You're still trying to find your emotions when it comes to this one because it hits you on all kinds of feels. But it is very optimistic, especially on the second half of the album where things start to really take a turn, and it's just something that you don't experience in doom metal like this. And with it being this style of melodic doom, it's all clean vocals. I love the vocal delivery on this album. I love the songs that are on here. I love the message it's trying to portray. One of my favorite doom albums of the year.
I thought he had a nice voice, and there's some catchy elements. I just don't know if it's enough to really bring me back, though.
Again, you're wrong.
How am I wrong? It's my opinion.
Yet it's still wrong.
And he'll explain to you all later on the after show.
Yeah, the Patreon exclusive behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes with that drummer guy and heavy debriefings.
I'll explain how she's wrong for having a mind of her own. Next up is all this stuff.
Your mind, my choice.
I was trying not to go there, but I guess I kind of set myself up for that.
You did.
All right, the rest of these are ones that have been out already. Starting with the return album of the band Beardfish with songs for beating hearts. This is just that Scandinavian progressive rock I've always known them for, and there's nothing I can say that will make the Metal Faerie think any different than how she feels about this one, so I'm just gonna let her take it away.
Number one, let's just discuss this horrendous name. Beardfish? Come on, try a little bit harder, people. They look like they live in a couple of trailers off-grid. It's not for me. Like, I don't even know how to describe this music, but it is not for me.
I will never try to get you into them, but God, you are so wrong. How dare you have your own opinion? Next up is Duiver, that's Italian for deer, with their debut album, The Hunter. This is what I describe as the Italian version of Egalock. It is that atmospheric folk black metal, some more electronic moments, a little bit of symphonic stuff going on there as well, too, some more avant-garde moments. Yeah, basically if Egalock came from Italy.
I kind of liked it when it kicked in, but it's very atmospheric and it's a little too much for me.
But you don't feel that way about Egalock, unless you've been lying to me this whole time.
I'm allowed to have different opinions on different bands, or am I not? No, you're not. All opinions.
Men. Boo!
Boo! I choose the bear.
Boo, you suck. All right, enough of this. Coming up next is some doom stuff here with Mater Tenebrum with Drag Me Into the Unknown. The female-fronted, very dark funeral doom stuff here that I really, really enjoy. It is hard to find them online as there's a lot of bands with this band name, so it took a bit for me to find them, and I'm glad that I did, but look for the Spotify playlist where I have this on there if you want to be able to find them for yourself, but if you're looking for some female-fronted funeral doom.
There's some nice guitar, and the vocals are nice, but otherwise it's a bit dull.
That's half the music right there. The only things that's missing is the bass and drums.
I said some nice guitar work. I didn't say it was amazing throughout.
I didn't say amazing. Don't put words in my mouth.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I didn't.
Did. Up next is Mental Torment.
Yeah. Isn't that what the show feels like right now? Yes, the latest album from Mental Torment with Deadshot Revival. Yeah, another stunning display of funeral doom in my humblest of opinions. One of the finest displays of 2024.
Not bad, but not catching me.
Next up is the debut album from Myth Begotten with Tales from the Unseelie Court, which I'll never be able to say right because that is quite the tongue twister. But I will say, we have not gotten music like this in 2024. It has not been a good year for this style of epic power metal.
Yeah, not too much.
It seems like when it comes to power metal this year, it seems like everyone's trying to either be a modern metal band, they're sticking to the traditional power metal sound, or they're doing it for the memes, like Windrose. This is that late 90s, early 2000s epic power metal, folk metal, orchestral symphonic metal that needs to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
It is one of the finest displays that you're going to hear this year, and in the 2020s, if I want to be completely honest with it. It is such a magnificent display of this genre, and I wish more bands were still this.
Yeah, this is super catchy, very fancy rich, and yeah, just really good.
Holy crap, we agree on something.
You hear my eyes rolling, everybody?
Anyways, we got two left here. Next is the latest album that I added to the list overall, because I did not know this existed until last week. Actually, a week from today is when I found out about this album. The debut album from Neon Nightmare with Faded Dream. This is 100% pure typo worship. That is what the band is. Like what Gruesome is to the band Death, Neon Nightmare is to typo. Like, it's supposed to be just a loving tribute to all the eras of the band, whether it gets into the faster stuff, the sleazier stuff, the gothier stuff, the electronic stuff. They even have like one of those fake intro tracks in there too, which in the beginning of the album, which is such a fantastic touch. Like, they really did their due diligence on this one. It's the best typo album that was never made by typo.
Yeah, I love it. Gothy, dark, moody, everything you can want.
And you can pretty much use that to describe the final album that we'll be talking about as well.
Yes.
From Tribulation with Sub Rosa in Aeternum. Now, again, I have to describe this every time because it just blows my freaking mind every time that I think about this. They started off as a pure death metal band. Death metal. Then they became a dark, evil black metal band. Then they became a black and roll band. And now, what are they?
Oh, you're asking
Yeah,
me?
I'm asking you. What is Tribulation making right now?
They're gothy rock, yeah.
Yeah, 70s, 80s goth rock. They are basically doing Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds if they did Hammer horror soundtracks. It's mind-boggling to me seeing the direction that they've taken.
Yeah.
But that said, it's one of the best goth albums of the year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree. I love what they're doing now, and I mean, I love a lot from their history as well. But they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Coming out strong with another goth contender and the gothiest year goth began.
And I think that's a great way to wrap up the show this week.
I agree.
We are both tired. We're both angsty. We're playfully fighting with each other. But I can just imagine that one wrong word from either of us is going to lead to some fighting that happens off mic. But thank you so very much for tuning in to episode 70 of the Heavy Debriefings podcast. Next week should hopefully be back to regular programming.
Yeah.
I hope I'll be back in working condition by then.
Yeah.
This is close to it, but, still not where I want it to be. But I'm still glad that we were able to make the shows. We basically made 2 podcasts in 2 days without strangling each other, so I think that's pretty good.
The win.
We went through a lot of highs already. We went through a lot of lows. Some of the lowest that we've ever done while recording the show has happened during this one.
Yeah.
So, over the course of 70 episodes, I just want to thank you again for being here, still wanting to do the show. I really think you found your voice with this. I love how much fun that you're having with it, the banter that we do. You're really showing your personality, and I really like everything that happens. I love you, and here's to the next 70.
Cheers.
Cheers. And until next week, for 43-year-old Metal Faerie, this is Josh Runquist for the Heavy Debriefings podcast saying good night and God bless.
This has been the Heavy Debriefings podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
Make sure to follow Heavy Debriefings on all your favorite social media sites: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads. And of course, heavydebriefings.weebly.com for all of your Heavy Debriefings needs.
Also check out the Metal Faerie at facebook.com at the Metal Faerie.
Until next time.